Okay, so I feel like I need to make a video describing some of the stuff I've been up to recently. And I'm also wondering if there's people out there that are interested in the work I'm doing with paddle controllers specifically. Hold on a second, I need to turn down the volume. Okay, so what I videoed earlier was footage of me playing a game I developed for the Game Tank, which is an 8-bit homebrew console. And it's a it's a Breakout style game. So Breakout was an Atari game from like the 70s, and it used paddle controllers, and I feel like I need to explain what that is because I don't think people know these days. But a paddle controller, you can kind of see in this footage that there's this green box that has like a knob on it. It looks like a volume knob. That's a paddle controller. Although that was a pretty bare bones design where I just drilled, or I 3D printed a box that had a hole for the potentiometer, and the potentiometer is the knob, and then there's another hole for the button. So it's a simple controller. But I think what I want people to understand, especially people who don't play games like this, or people who don't have people who are just used to like game pads, is that there's a reason I'm sort of obsessed with the paddle controller. I mean, I'm also sort of obsessed with analog circuitry, which is to differentiate from digital, right? So I don't know how much I need to keep explaining what everything means, but I think it's interesting anyway, even if you know what it is. But like a digital input is just like an on-off switch. So a button press is a digital input. So when a lot of games use game pads, a lot of game pads are just 4 buttons for the up, down, left, right. So that's a digital input. And I just feel like because of durability, because of standardization, I feel like we're seeing analog controls disappear. So like most modern game pads do have an analog controller or an analog stick. Usually there's one on the left and one on the right. I guess it's for games where you can usually control the camera with one hand and move your player with the other. But it just seems like it's going out of style or something, or I think what happens is people don't want to buy a gamepad that has moving parts that can break down over time. And I think that's a shame. I think that's the main issue here. Because when you play a game that has a physical knob where the position that you turn the knob corresponds to a precise behavior, like a precise location on the screen, like there's a really beautiful connection, hand-eye coordination and whatever. It's like immersive, I think is the word I'm looking for. And it's something that we are disconnected from with the controllers, more modern controllers. And I just, it's become like a retro thing to want a knob that sends a voltage to your computer, basically. And it depends on where you turn the knob. All the way to the left is 0 voltage, and all the way to the right is something else, like 3 volts or 5 volts. And the computer can read that And based on the voltage that it sees, it can act on that. And it can act on it so fast. The contrast of that is you press left or right, and now you have to wait for the computer to move as fast as it wants. With a knob, you can turn it as fast as humanly possible, right? It's just a really interesting phenomenon that I just feel like I need to remind people about, maybe. And that's why I'm building these paddle controllers. It started with the game tank, but I'm currently developing a USB version. And it's not rocket science, it's just taking a gamepad, a current game controller, and splitting the 2 analog joysticks into 4 individual knobs. And the reason people aren't really making these things, even though the technology's right there, is like nobody wants... Well, actually, I don't know if there's a reason. I don't think it's actively thought of as something people don't want. I think they need to be reminded that games can feel so much more immersive. Even games made on a processor from 50 years ago. Or maybe it was 40 years ago. I don't know. The 6502. So the footage you're seeing is on the game tank. The game tank is a computer basically made from the 6502 processor, which is what they used in the Apple II computer. And it's a really beautiful thing, actually. It was really exciting, really rewarding to develop for this processor. But yeah, just to say that I think people should... there goes my footage, it ended. I think people should be more aware of paddle controllers. And I don't know, I just rambled on for a while, and I hope this is interesting for some people. I guess I'll post this and I have to consider who my target audience is, maybe. But I think I'm just trying to reach people and say paddle controllers are awesome. Okay, that's all.